Welcome to a special edition of Sober Readings for May 3rd. What follows is a 30-minute conversation that I had this morning with my friend Katie. Katie was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. Her courage and positivity in facing this difficult situation is not only amazing, but very inspiring. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Hi, Katie.
Hey, Scott.
Thank you for sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
I know you don't have much time this morning, so we'll get right to it. Do you want to read the daily reflection for me?
Yeah, sure. All right. May 3rd, cleaning house. Somehow, being alone with God doesn't seem as embarrassing as facing up to another person. Until we actually sit down and talk aloud about what we have so long hidden, our willingness to clean house is still largely theoretical. That is from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions on page 60. It wasn't unusual for me to talk to God and myself about my character defects, but to sit down face to face and openly discuss these intimacies with another person was much more difficult. I recognized in the experience, however, a similar relief to the one I had experienced when I first admitted I was an alcoholic. I began to appreciate the spiritual significance of the program, and that this step was just an introduction to what was yet to come in the remaining 7 steps.
Beautiful, thank you. I appreciate you being my guest reader this morning.
Oh, of course.
So, in the big book on page 17, 417, you know what I'm talking about. We call it acceptance. And I just want to say the acceptance thing real quick. We have it hanging on the wall. It's one of the things I've committed to memory. And so it says, "And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. If I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. Until I can accept my alcoholism, I cannot stay sober. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes."
Nailed it.
So I wanted to ask you what that means to you now, considering what's going on in your life.
I thought it was everything to me before a couple weeks ago. But since I've been diagnosed with breast cancer, acceptance is like a superpower, and it's like an antidote, and it's like sometimes it's just like a Claritin, like when I'm having an alcoholic attack. Sometimes acceptance is just a good way to reduce the intensity of feelings, because it just is a right sizer, from coming here almost every single morning for 3 years. You hear so many stories, and if you stop comparing your suffering to others and you start identifying with it, then all you get is an opportunity to see the things that you could go through someday and how somebody else has gotten through them already, or that it's possible to stay sober no matter what. All we do is get examples every day of someone has cancer, someone just lost someone's relapsed, someone's family member is drinking. Things are going really well. They got a new job, they got a new car, they got a new girlfriend. Like, all of these things are a part of life, but for an alcoholic can be a ticket to an extreme, and I have to stay out of extremes. So that tells me that, at any given moment, if I just accept my life in its current state, then that just gets me closer to reality, and my mind likes to be really creative with my version of reality. I'm a very artistic person. I have a really visual mind. So right in the 12 and 12, somewhere it says, we have these amazing imaginations, and we need to learn how to use them for good. Because when I'm not in acceptance, then nothing is fair. I don't have anything I want. No one cares about me, because my whole reality is based on my expectation of what I think it should be. And the more if I can reduce my expectations, then I can reduce the pressure of, my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that you use the word opportunity. And we have a mutual friend that, I won't say names, but we have a mutual friend that recently went through cancer, but still going through it, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that it's been amazing to watch him go through it, right? And I really think it's about mindset, and it really can heal the body. And he's been so positive through this entire process. And I feel like you've been very positive just in this beginning phase of this, and you haven't even started anything, and you're heading into it with this positivity of, I just need to accept this. This is life on life's terms. This is what I have to do. I don't have a choice in this, right?
Right. Because when we're talking about the acceptance of this cancer diagnosis, we're just talking about my ego is the only one that can't really accept it, right? Because if I've come to believe in a power greater than myself, which I have, then, I become just another bozo on the bus, like we hear in here, and I become less unique, and I become just like one person living a life. But on a spiritual level, I knew in some way or another, I think, at least, based on what I have come to believe, that my spirit knew that this was happening before I did. My body certainly knew it was happening. Like, my physical self was what told me, my mind, about the cancer. I found it myself. So, like, doing a self-check, all of a sudden you feel a lump, and there was a part of my brain that had to wrap around that, oh, now this is something I have to take an action, And anytime I'm presented with an action, I need to do some spiritual work, because it's dangerous for me to go make decisions based on what my ego thinks is a good idea. And my ego in the past would just say, don't worry about it. It's probably nothing. Just, get through the day and see if you still feel it tomorrow. And I really, when I was standing at work one afternoon, it was like a couple, maybe 6 or 7 hours after I'd found it that morning, just this like entire feeling came over me of just, we got to go to the doctor. It's like the self-sufficient mind stepped out of the way and was like, nope, this is something we need to accept as happening in reality, in real time. So acceptance for me, it's just there's so many different levels to it, but I'm pretty sure it's like the end all be all of everything. It's kind of, if you can get to acceptance, I think that you realize that a lot of, at least in my experience, what it looks like to me is that a whole lot of religions and a whole lot of self-help stuff and a whole lot of support groups and a whole lot of these institutions that we have set up in our society, it's like all just one, it's like many paths just to the same end, which is acceptance in some form or another of your reality and the reality that you're in with everyone else, And in that is where you get the strength to see things for the greater good of the group, not just like what will satisfy my needs and desires today, but what's good for everyone. Like when I come in here in the morning and I share, is it just all garbage about me and my relationship and my family and everything at work and all that stuff, Or is it something that we can all use? Is it, I have a coin in the front of my big book that says carry the message, not the mess, Because we all have mess. This is what we know this. But when you can, objectify, when you can look at it and take out the parts that are specifically about Katie, if you can get it down to the root cause of the problem, then it's something we can all share and something we can all benefit from, because we've gotten it to a raw state of just self-centered fear is usually what it is. It's like the punchline in this fucking program. It's like you go searching and searching and you do fourth step after fourth step and 10th step inventories, and it's just selfish, self-centered fear. And in any given moment, when I'm starting to feel that clenchy feeling in my chest of, discomfort because my expectations of reality are not meeting what I see happening in front of me, then I can just remember, like, oh, this is me doing this. Get back into acceptance. Everything that's happening right now is exactly the way it's supposed to be. No one asked you, you know? Just if you accept it, the intensity starts to lessen and the picture broadens, and all of a sudden there's more solutions than there were before, and there's more opportunities, you know? And all I can see is these gifts so far in this diagnosis. And I've never felt more loved. I've never felt more supported. I've never felt more spiritually connected. So, you know, while I can see off in the distance these feelings that look a lot like misery and despair, and they're right next to, like right behind those thoughts, if I go there, it's not fair. Why is this happening to me? Nothing ever goes the way I want it to. Life sucks. This is just the way it is, you know? And I was raised in a house that was kind of like, you get what you get and you don't get upset, you know? And that's so close to acceptance. Like, it really is. It's like a hair away, but without God or a spiritual angle, or, you know, without that hope piece, then it's just life sucks, you know? And it's so interesting how close we all are all the time to this, like, acceptance, because so many people are willing to be like, everything sucks. That's acceptance.
Playing the victim.
It's just wrong. Like, it's acceptance in the wrong direction,
Right.
because you're willing to accept the everything part, but that's just based on your own perception that it has that flavor, you know?
And you are certainly carrying the message of Alcoholics Anonymous by your attitude surrounding this whole thing. You know, I wanted to ask you, what is the what is the fellowship? What is Alcoholics Anonymous? What are the 12 steps? How do you think that's going to help you? It sounds like I already know the answer to this. You've already said it, but how is all this going to help you get through this?
I mean, because first of all, it's exactly what I wouldn't have done 3 years ago. And for 3 years, I've been just trying to do the stuff that old Katie wouldn't do, you know, or lower self, if you will. But it's everything. It's the way I live my life now. Like, I heard someone when I first got here say, AA is not something you, like, go to. It's a lifestyle. You know, Tracy used to say that. AA is a lifestyle. And my metaphor for it is like a fence, like a lattice fence with morning glories growing on it. Because AA to me is the morning glories, and my life is the fence. And it is my job to, like, train those vines close to the lattice and then let it do its thing. Like, it can grow all over my life if I pay attention to when I make these connections. Like, as long as in moments of discomfort I am sincerely trying to connect to a higher power, it doesn't matter how good I am at it or what I believe. It just matters that I'm trying in that moment. And I really do think that something gets in and something works its way on my reality and my perception, you know? But as soon as I'm an hour away from here, from this meeting, it's like starting to wear off, you know? Because I've gotten a couple self-sufficient thoughts that worked out in the world. Like, I drove myself home, I made myself breakfast, and now everything's going great, and I'm doing it all myself. So it's so easy to think. Thinking is my problem. And when I'm here, I feel safe to be myself, but I don't have to think as much. Like, I don't have to figure AA out. AA works. Like, I just have to do it, and I just have to come here and be a part of it. And no one is asking me for anything more than that. So, like, that is just such a healthy, place for me to be. Besides all the benefits I get. It's like a, you know, doggy daycare for my brain. I can just come here for an hour, bring it here. And, you know, I remember someone telling me at the beginning, when I was still, you know, unconvinced of miracles, they're like, did you just sit quietly for an hour and listen to other people? That's a fucking miracle.
For sure.
Because you were going to kill yourself, not that long ago on your living room floor because you couldn't get vodka for breakfast. So, like, look how far you've come, even though it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And I will not get any of that sitting at my house by myself. Like, the steps are amazing because they unfold over and over and over again. They just, like, it's like when a stream is turning into a river, Every time you pass through them, every time you read the 12 and 12, every time you help a newcomer, every time you talk to someone about a step, it's just like, it's just revealing itself further. And we were just talking about this before we started, like, you're never going to reach a point where they're like, okay, you're done. You did it all.
Yeah.
Like, it can only get deeper. That's why people spend, how many thousands of years reading the Bible? Because they're metaphors and they're human truths that I think we've all, for 30,000 years been trying to walk around to explain to each other. Wait, look at what I understand, Since drawing on a cave, like, look at.
Well, just like reading the big book.
Trying to connect,
and just like every time we read the big book, it seems like every time we read it, I can read the same page over and over, and I get something different out of it, or somebody will bring up, hey, what's that word in the context of that sentence? And, and it really changes my perception of that paragraph, that chapter, that reading. So yeah, and this morning, just this morning, in our meeting, we read out of the big book, and one of the stories talked about, and I actually mentioned this, how at the end of this guy's drinking, he doesn't say, that's the last time I had to take a drink. He says, never again have I had to walk alone. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Like, we don't have to do this alone. And, when you say you get an hour from here and my thoughts start creeping in and I'm by myself and I know exactly what that's all about. And that can take me out. That can take me to really dark places. And so I need to stay close to this program and remember that I can't do it by myself. And so it sounds like that's how you're approaching this whole situation, is that you don't have to do it alone. This may be just you and your body, but it's not. You don't have to approach the whole thing, on your own. When my father died 3 or 4 years ago, it's amazing how the fellowship just surrounded me, and like, it's really something special to be in this program and have friends like this.
Oh, for sure, because I can feel her in there, the one that's like, okay, but maybe today we'll just not call anyone, and maybe this has been really nice getting all this love, but why don't we just do a day of isolation? And I know that it's so insidious. Like, I know it is, because there is a part of me deep down that wants to find that corner and just be miserable, because now I've gotten my ticket. This is what I always wanted when I was drinking, was like the ultimate excuse. I've been diagnosed with cancer, But in that moment, I can't even tell you, it took me, I think, maybe 10 or 11 hours before I even noticed that I didn't think about drinking when I was diagnosed with cancer. It wasn't even like, oh,
That's
wow,
amazing.
and I
That's
don't want to drink.
a miracle.
It was like a hindsight noticing of like, oh, shit, wow. And like, I wouldn't trade that for anything, because that is not who I was when I walked in these doors. And the fact that I can just get cancer and only see gifts, it's like just proof of this program. And that is why I am so passionate about it. And that's why I try to help as many people as I can, because like, it is no bullshit to me. I am amazed every day at how this program has been the thing I was missing the most in my life. Like, I just feel like everything was broken and everything was so damaged and everything was beyond repair. And then I came in here and like, it's like you put in one little spark plug and all of a sudden everything's whirring and spinning again and everything's on and it's working. And it doesn't feel, it really doesn't feel like I did it myself, Like, I've had some discipline that got me here, and I've had a lot of hard work, because there was like plenty of days that I would leave the morning meeting still like not quite right, not quite full yet. And I would go home and just like geek out over AA. You were the one that gave me Sobercast to listen to. And that was the best my first year because I was just listening to it in the car, listening to it in the grocery store. And there's like millions of different people on there. So you can get any kind of person from years ago or to now. And I just would open all my books. As Bill Sees It is one of my favorite things because they're short, but they're so meaningful, you know? And I just like really, I just am convinced that that's the work I need to do when I'm uncomfortable. I don't always want to do it, but I always get something out of it, you know? That's not a hangover. So it's like all better than what I used to do to solve problems, which was get a bottle of vodka, you know?
Yeah.
And hope that I could just hide some from myself for the morning. Like, that was it. And most mornings, I couldn't even do that, you know? And then you start off as a failure because you can't even not drink your hidden vodka for the morning. And that's just, like, no way to start a day at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It's much better now at the morning meeting.
Yeah. Coffee is so much nicer in the morning than vodka.
So much better. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, someone said this morning in the meeting that, man, I just want everybody to leave me alone so I can drink. Mm-hmm. And then at one point, everybody left me alone. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't want that. And it's so true.
It's so true.
Leave me alone so I can drink and drug the way I want to. And I push everybody away. And then everybody goes away. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, what happened? But it's what I wanted.
How I felt at the end of my drinking. I say this to people all the time. Laura gets a kick out of this one, but it's just like, leave me alone. I need you. Like that feeling is just how I felt at the end of my drinking.
And you could almost face this situation that same way. Like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, right?
Are you sure?
Because
nobody else wants to talk about it either,
exactly.
really.
Right.
You know,
and you're still new in this thing, but do you find that people are approaching this like the elephant in the room, like they don't know whether or not to talk to you about it? Or
some people, not so much in the program,
right, not in the
really,
program, right.
because this is like what we do, and you know, somebody on any given day has a pretty awkward problem, probably, you know, but definitely when I'm at work, you know, I work with the public and I have customers, so like I get to see a whole spectrum of people without program and with program. And, you know, but the other thing is, like, my mom died of cancer when I was 16, and I'm trying so hard not to project that experience onto this one. And I couldn't do that if I was drinking or if I wasn't in the program because, like, this experience is new. It's not the past, you know. I can remember that without projecting that onto this new experience. Like, first of all, cancer treatment has changed a lot in 20 years, so I can't base anything on that idea. But all I know, I kind of lost my train of thought, but I don't know. It just feels doable. Like, I think cancer is probably like a lot of people's first emotional bottom, right? Like, it's probably, for a lot of normal people, a reckoning of sorts, whether it's like with your diet or your lifestyle or your family, or all of a sudden you have to stop working. A sickness is a big traumatic thing. But after getting sober 3 years ago, like, it might be the worst thing that's happened to me on paper, but it doesn't feel as bad as that did. Still, you know?
Well, what do we say when we get sober is that you just have to change everything, right?
Yeah, you don't have to change much. You just have to change everything.
Right. And that's kind of, you know, exactly what you just said about cancer is that, you know, talking about your diet and exercise or whatever you do to fight this, you just have to change everything, right?
Yeah, but what I've never had, you know, up until this point of sobriety is like tools to accept that, because that's the part. It's like I know how. I know how to get out of an emotional bottom. I know how to deal with discomfort. I know how to accept. I know how to take things to my higher power and to a sponsor. Like I know now how to do. I didn't have any of that when I was getting sober. Like I was learning it all for the first time.
And that's why people say when they introduce themselves, they say, "My name is Scott. I'm a grateful alcoholic."
Grateful.
And some people like, why would you say you're grateful? Well, that's exactly why, what you just talked about. That's why people are grateful to be an alcoholic, because I would never wish any of the stuff that I went through on anybody, but
Right.
but what I'm getting now out of my life, who I've become, the open-mindedness, the willingness, everything, what I've learned about myself, what I've learned about other people, relationships, everything has come from this program, So that's why people say that they're a grateful alcoholic,
Yeah. There was definitely, I specifically remember one horrible day that I had to go grocery shopping and I was wasted and it became a horrible, horrible experience. Like nothing bad happened. It was an internal horrible experience. But like I still haven't had that bad of a day since I got diagnosed with cancer as that grocery store experience, just untethered, unconnected. And I just, when you take the thought away from me that I am alone, like I came in here and you guys were like, you are not alone. Now what does your reality look like?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck, that was my biggest excuse. And you took it away. And ever since then, I've been like, all right, I guess I'll try to figure out how to do this whole life thing. I don't know. It's a very simple program for very complicated people.
For sure.
And that's why it works on all of us. It's such a big funnel of, dysfunction. But it all comes down to the same thing. Like, can you just accept yourself and your reality, and can we go from there?
Yeah.
Because this program does not promise you riches and cars and houses and jobs and families. It doesn't promise you any of that. It tells you, we can help you stay away from alcohol so that you're free to make your other choices. We'll help you see which ones of those might help get you closer to God.
And be the
that's
person
it.
that you're meant to be,
And just
because
be.
alcohol and drugs holds us down from that,
I couldn't see it, until I saw it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
So, with your stuff coming up, is there fear surrounding it?
Oh, for sure. And I'm, if I didn't have fears, then I would be delusional. And I have to watch out for, I'm more of a depressive type, but I have a real mania streak that just will, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I can do this. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, So I got to watch out for her too. And I definitely have fears, but I'm not fearful. I'm not making it my whole personality, because as soon as, if I accept being fearful, then all of a sudden other things get scary, But if I accept that I have fears, then I can deal with them. I can pray about them. I can do work around them. Or I can just accept them as the fears that they are, know that they're there, and just engage with more happy thoughts, This is something I didn't think I would ever get, which was control over my thoughts. When I got here, someone told me, don't worry, your thoughts will slow down. And I remember looking at them like, when is that going to happen?
Instant gratification, right? I want this now.
And holy shit, it really happens, despair appears on the horizon, but it's a choice now whether I get in that hole or not, I used to just think it was, like I saw misery coming and was like, oh, there it is. We must be miserable now, And now it's like, it's certainly not fucking easy, that's for sure. But it is possible.
Worth it.
But it's worth it, and it's possible for me to go, hey, you know what? All these thoughts that are coming out right now all have this kind of sad tinge to them, or they're a little darker around the edges, Like, maybe we need to take a walk or take a shower or go eat a granola bar. Like, maybe something else, because it's starting to look kind of like a wee.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never, ever could see that before. That's how I spent so many years in that hole, because I just thought but that was my hole of despair, and that's just the way it is, because life sucks, you know?
Yeah, because unfortunately, when we're
was
younger, we're not
so
taught stuff. I wasn't taught stuff like this.
I wasn't either.
You know?
No.
I didn't grow up talking about my feelings. I didn't grow up talking about any of the stuff that we talk about in here, which is why I love it so much, which is
Me
why
too. I had no idea.
I love. I know, right? Like, I can do what? I can talk to other men. I can tell other men that I love them and tell them my feelings. Like, really? Yeah, I never had that when I was growing up, and you know, that's not any dig against my family or anything. That's just who we were, you know. And
Yeah.
And so to learn that stuff and be able to use that stuff now in my life has made my life so much better, and it sounds like it has for you too.
Oh, for sure. Especially because it doesn't, you know, AA's been around a lot longer than most of the people in the rooms. So it's like, I'm not coming here and listening to someone who was, you know, voted most popular and now runs the meeting. It's like, it's an authority that is well beyond all of us. It's like the program itself is the authority. God is the ultimate authority. And that is something I can adhere to, it turns out. Because that part of me that's an alcoholic that's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. It's like, well, if God's the ultimate authority and I'm trying to get closer to God, then something about that is acceptable in my mind and allows me to do the work, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've taken up 30 minutes of your time. Any
love
closing
it.
thoughts? Anything else you want to add before we shut down here?
Not particularly, but, you know, it's possible. If you're listening and you have no idea how this could ever work for you, you are not alone, because that's exactly how I felt, and I'm just still amazed every day by moments of like, holy shit, I'm getting better. Like, it's not, you know, huge, momentous. No one's giving me awards for getting better.
Yeah.
But there are real moments where I look in the mirror and I'm like, all right, not so bad,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me, that's a huge, huge deal. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking. Thank you.
Thank you.
for
Thank you for
having
having
the
me.
courage to talk about this stuff. You know, and again, that comes from AA. For me,
Yeah,
that
for
stuff
sure.
comes from AA. I would have never done that before, and so for you to have the courage to come on and talk about it is very inspiring, and I'm sure people are gonna, you know, find something in it.
yeah, you'll have to check in with me again in a couple weeks.
Absolutely, that's the
See?
plan. That's why, you know, I know that you were kind of like,
is
well,
all
I got a busy
optimist.
weekend and I don't really have time, and I'm like, how about 15 minutes after the meeting? You know,
That's
and it's been
perfect.
32 minutes, so
That's
I could talk to you for
perfect.
hours. But
Oh,
thank you so
God,
much.
yeah, no.
You've been a big part of my sobriety too in this meeting, and
that.
and I love hearing from you. I love your metaphors. They really make sense. They make it so much easier to you know, think about things, and so thank you. I appreciate
Well,
it.
that's what we're all doing. We're just all trying to show each other what we just saw, you know?
Yeah. So I love you, Katie.
I
Thank
love
you so
too.
much.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend.